Hello. I thought that for this week I would talk about CVs. I've been reading that apparently a quarter of the UK workforce are currently thinking about a new job. So of course a CV is something that they will most definitely be working on whilst they're on lockdown or furloughed. And of course CVs are going to be really important for the poor folk from the likes of Cath Kidston, Oasis and Warehouse, all of whom will be most definitely needing to update their CVs for their job searches. So CVs, many exciting subjects within that topic. The main question everybody always says to me is, how long should my CV be? How long should it be? Probably depends on who you are. There's absolutely no reason why a graduate or an allocator or an MAA needs to have a CV that goes over that one page. So keep it to one page at that level. Beyond that, 2 sides is fine for up to merchandiser, senior merchandiser level. That should give you plenty of space to say what you need to say without waffling. And of course, once you get to head of merch upwards, absolutely fine to go to the 3 sides. Beyond that, just no need. I think nobody wants to get stuck in a meeting with somebody who can talk for that long about themselves. So let's just remember what it says about you if you are unable to summarise your own information. There's a current trend in CVs for this sort of new funky look, which can include little miniature graphs and crazy little charts. I don't think that has a place in merchandising. I think that merchandising is all about delivering information in a clear manner, and that boxes and charts on a CV, it's not necessary. It needs to be about delivering the information well. So the other thing about format is that recruiters are busy, whether they're recruiters like me, possibly not as busy as normal right now, or whether they're recruiters working in-house for the retail brands. They don't actually have time to read the entire CV. So for that reason, put together a CV that kind of just drifts over somebody's eyes. And by that I mean make the most of bullet points, underlining, bold, and that should make your CV stand out without actually being overly wordy, or of course too spacey, and heaven forbid, not the aforementioned graphs. Profile at the top of the CV is one that people often ask me about. Should there be a profile? I think it's absolutely fine. A couple of sentences, just giving a little quick taster of who you are. And I think that that's a really nice way to begin the CV before you move into your career history. The bulk of the CV is always going to be about responsibilities and achievements. That's the stuff that everybody wants to read about. Responsibilities, I would say, aim for probably 8 bullet points of what you're doing. And the key headline news you need in that is your title, the dates you've done it for, and then the department, which area you're working on, what that turnover is, what the SKUs are, who you report into, and who you're managing. They're the kind of pieces that are the non-negotiables, so that people can really see what you're doing. You could be a merchandiser looking after a turnover of 10 million and a team of 1, or you could be a merchandiser looking after a turnover of 100 million and a team of 12. So it's really important to make it pretty clear what calibre of merchandiser you are. And then after you've listed those responsibilities, you then list the achievements, possibly with a different style bullet points to highlight what you're doing. And that's where you really show the kind of value that you've added to your role. After responsibilities and achievements through your career history, you would probably go on to talk about your education, which needn't be more than a few bullet points. It could be, there's your degree, there's your A-levels, there's your GCSEs. Of course, nothing wrong with including a couple of sentences that sums up the modules you studied, or possibly the dissertation that you did, if it's relevant to what you're doing now. But also, don't forget in education to feature IT, the packages that you're using, particularly merchandising packages. That's something that people are often really, really interested to see what you've worked on. And of course, put languages in there too, because that's another one. Interests and hobbies. Shoot me now. Interests and hobbies. If I had £1 for every time I'd seen people that like to go out and socialising and meeting new people, really, just if you can't think of anything interesting to say, just leave the section off. If you work to do some charitable work, that's a great thing to feature. Or perhaps you do some tutoring at home for students. That's another great thing to feature. Duke of Edinburgh, someone that's a keen runner maybe. I've seen people talk about how they enjoy cooking at home, going out to restaurants, getting inspiration. Thank goodness they use the gym too. This is actually a really nice place to insert a little bit of personality, because the rest of the CV is a little bit professional. I always say that's a little bit like when men have to wear a very strict style suit and then they wear some jazzy socks. So you can insert personality into that section. Should you include a photograph on your CV? Well, I've seen all sorts of lap dancers to mad axe murderer photographs on CVs before. I don't think it's necessary, particularly for merchandisers. You can have your photograph on LinkedIn. In the main, a recruiter will always look you up on there anyway. But no, I would say that probably it's just a little bit too much of a sticky issue. Avoid. And the final point I want to talk about is cover letters. I think it's a little bit old-fashioned that people think they need to put a cover letter with a CV. Just a couple of sentences saying something like, so excited to see this vacancy. I'd be really keen to talk further about it with you. Shows your enthusiasm. Of course, your CV speaks for itself. You can see exactly what you're doing and that therefore you're relevant for the role. So whether you're writing to a recruiter like me or a recruiter working for a retailer, there's no need to go OTT on the subject of the cover letter. I am available currently to help anybody with CVs within merchandising, particularly, as I say, for people from the likes of Cath Kidston, Oasis Warehouse. If you want to send your CV over to me, I'd be so happy to make sure that it looks tip-top for you so that when we've got some vacancies, it is ready to go. Email mary@aquaretail.co.uk. Yeah, I think that's it from me for this week. Stay well.